Is this really what I'm seeing? Is this for real? Here. Oh, hey. I'm right outside my apartment, too. Cool. So, have you seen Alien Covenant?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about it?
I just threw up all over your bathtub, so I think I've said all I have to say.
Do you want to go see Wonder Woman?
No.
Okay.
Hello. Welcome to The Last Shot, our movie review show. I'm Hunter.
I'm Joe.
And today we're going to talk about Wonder Woman.
There's honestly not a lot to talk about this movie. This is actually my first DC movie I've seen, so...
You haven't seen Man of Steel either?
I saw part of it when I was playing in my apartment. I had a friend play it. It was on like HBO.
We've tried to watch Batman v Superman twice, but you've fallen asleep both times.
Yes. This movie, I did not fall asleep for, even though it was much easier to fall asleep.
Oh, you were in the theater.
It's true. I feel like that's not necessarily.
I'm pretty sure there was a person behind me sleeping. There was like very heavy breathing going on right behind me.
Anyway. I guess I'll start with the fact this movie was neither of the things I wanted to be, which is either I always want any movie I see to be really good.
Sure.
It was not that. Or I want it to be just so terrible that I can laugh at it.
Yeah.
And this was not that.
It fell right.
It was right in the middle
area.
which is the worst place to be. There were a couple scenes where I kind of laughed at, but there were few and far between. It was nice that they at least kind of set up the whole origin story of Wonder Woman and explained all that fairly clearly, except for the little thing about her. I guess we'll get into spoilers because
let's get into spoilers later. Let's wait on spoilers.
All right. They set up this whole mystery of like where she came from. Kind of they gave the audience a little information and. That was kind of boring because I thought slowly she'd discover more and more about herself in the movie, and they didn't. They just kind of unloaded that at the end. They live on their magical Greek island. They're a bunch of Amazon warriors, and then anybody can just travel into their magical bubble, which I was shocked at.
I was also shocked that anyone could have just found them by accidentally.
The only thing that protected them was fog.
Yeah, I thought this movie was fine. It was like a solid, very Hollywood movie. Like
I was trying to think back to some like older ones, like I don't know, Clash of the Titans or something where you have these like godlike figures fighting, or
I mean, it doesn't even matter.
Unstoppable.
It doesn't even matter that it's a godlike figure. It's just it's a hero's journey.
Yeah.
Like we got our plucky young Wonder Woman who's like full of ambition and big ideas and thinks she's gonna go out and save the world, and then she learns some lessons and fights her enemy.
But it was, I mean, I've seen simple hero's journey movies that have been interesting.
Well, yeah,
like,
I mean, it wasn't like super well made. It was competent. It was not incomprehensible like the other DC movies we've seen so far. Like now, this is DC like finding some of that Marvel magic. And by magic, I mean they made a completely stale movie.
Kind of reminded me of, I mean, there was a little bit of Captain America from the World War.
Yeah.
It reminded me more thematically of, oh my god.
What?
I'm blanking on it.
Are you trying to remember the superhero's name?
No, not Captain America. It was like a different Marvel movie.
Okay.
Nah.
I don't know. I mean, I actually thought it was better than most Marvel movies I've seen.
I was more interested in than like Captain America because for the most part it was like the idea, like, which I knew nothing of Captain America, so you had like Red Skull and his like laser weapons, and this was just like chemical weapons manufacturers. It felt a little bit more in its period.
Yes.
So,
I mean, I thought also it's one of those movies where there's nothing really interesting, but it does everything it's supposed to do to be a movie.
Yeah.
Like it has character arcs. It's like kind of about things. Like
it had a couple, it had a couple good, interesting ideas, which
about like humanity and evil and
things like that.
Yeah.
So you want to get into
these things are sprinkled in there. We can get into spoilers now.
So yeah, Chris Pine at the end has this whole speech where she's trying to hunt down the god of war. It's her whole point is all the Greek gods are dead except for the god of war. He fought Zeus and he was weakened, and so all the Amazon warriors are training and waiting for him to come back. And so she thinks, oh, he must be the one causing all this strife in the world.
In the beginning,
I gotta stop him. And she was really naive, and she's like, I gotta go to the front. I gotta fight the god of war.
I gotta go to the front. I'll kill Ares, and then all humans will be nice.
Yeah, and they're like, that doesn't work like that. And then she had that was a nice, gave a fish out of water character, and she was doing all that, and then finally she sees all of humanity still fighting because she thinks that Lunderoff, the German bad guy, is the god of war. She's like, he's got to be the god of war. He's making all these chemical weapons. He's terrible.
He's really bad.
And then you find out she kills him, and all the Germans are still doing, they're still going to drop the chemical weapons on London. And she's like, what's going on? And Chris Pine gives his whole speech. It's like, maybe there is no main bad guy. Maybe humanity is just kind of flawed, and you just have to do what you can.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, that's a nice motif. That's a nice way to cap it off. And
I mean, it was.
And then they immediately throw all that out the window by having the god of war just show up out of nowhere.
Well, they don't throw it all out the window because he has a line where he says, "Oh, I didn't make humans this way. I just helped them out. They would still be evil. I just give them ideas for better weapons." They use them. I don't make them choose to use the weapons.
I like the idea because they kind of had sprinkled that idea. Maybe there is no god of war.
Yeah.
The queen of the Amazon.
I thought
maybe he was dead.
He wasn't going to show up at all.
Yeah, that would have been more interesting. But she had to fight.
There had to be a big fight at the end.
20 minutes.
Which, I mean, once it got to that point, and I'm like a sucker for Hollywood schmaltz. Like the ending was fine to me. There's she learns her lesson, he makes a sacrifice, and they have a little speech. And okay, yeah, it's cool. There's a little romance that ends, and it gets wrapped up, and
she has to fight the boss fight for.
She has to fight the boss fight, yeah. I mean, I say that she had an arc, but really everything in this movie was very obvious.
It was.
You could see the whole movie stretch out in front of you just from the beginning.
Which is why I was so bored.
I was bored the whole time. Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes it's okay if at least it's well enough shot where I enjoy the kind of journey.
It's true.
This one was not poor enough where I was frustrated by that journey, but not good enough where I was I'll have fun. I was just kind of watching it.
It's hard to say what I would want this movie to have because the action scenes were well done. I thought we had our character arc, and Gal Gadot was good, and Chris Pine was good.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of modern movies where they have some interesting ideas, and there are just things that really take me out, like, you know, the action of this was fine. They loved their slow-mo. But, I remember, Star Trek Beyond had some interesting themes. I just could not stand the action direction in that. With this one, I could tell what was going on. Yeah. So that was fine.
You could always tell what was happening in the action scenes and throughout the whole movie, which I can't say about any other DC movie I've seen. It just, the story flows. I guess the real problem is that everything in this movie I've seen done better before.
Pretty much.
It just wasn't a movie I needed.
I don't mind seeing the same thing if it's well done and engaging. This was good enough.
It was good enough.
It wasn't engaging.
I felt bored during Doctor Strange and Civil War, and
Doctor Strange. I was just thinking of the better movie that they could have made during
this one. That's true. Doctor Strange was more infuriating.
It wasn't even infuriating because I enjoyed the little movie I made in my head. This one I was just I just didn't even. I was I'm not really sure what else they could do with this story.
they told the story.
I was like, I should pay attention to things to really discuss and how it's shot, and I was just it's all fine.
Maybe the problem is that this story didn't even need to be told because Batman v Superman already introduced us to Wonder Woman. Yeah. And if
I don't know much about that. It's standalone Wonder Woman movie. It introduced her well enough. And I mean, this is the world of superhero movies. I see it, and typically they don't some of them do frustrate me. Some of them don't. And I just watch it, and I'm like, that movie happened. I sat there, and
yeah, I never need to watch that movie again. Which is it's almost sad for me that this movie was so competent. Well, it's like you were saying, you either want it to be really good or so bad that it's funny. And this movie was just fine. There's a C- passing movie that I would watch Batman v Superman or Suicide Squad again to laugh at them. I would be ready to do that again all the time.
I would even say Alien Covenant, which was baffling. Shockingly bad was more. At least I laughed.
I laughed
hysterically. I cried
the whole way through Alien.
I laughed so hard at Alien. This is why I just don't want to see a lot of superhero movies. I just know it's probably gonna be.
This is upsetting. Does this mean that DC has got it? They've got the Marvel formula down now, and it's they're just.
You seem to think the Justice League trailer, it looks terrible.
I still have hope that Justice League will be really bad. I have no hope that it'll be good.
There were a couple of kind of comedically bad things. Chris Pine breathes in mustard gas and is just fine. He runs into a cloud of mustard gas.
He sees the mustard gas and runs in
he's like, oh no.
Oh wait, I can't. Apparently Wonder Woman
has his little vial of blue stuff that makes him super strong. Yeah. They never explained that. That was frustrating.
Everything about the movie, in terms of the technology, is all real.
Except for the blue vials.
For a completely useless plot element of blue vials that give you super strength for 10 minutes.
So yes, the little Dr. Poison... which I actually like that. That kind of seemed fitting. I was like, yeah, they wouldn't be that clever on the front lines.
Yeah.
I could think of some sort of...
I was fine with Dr. Poison.
Dr. Poison, the scientist making all the chemical weapons, one day she's like, oh, I came up with this great idea. Just cracks a vial in front of their main bad guy's face.
Last night, I invented this thing, and I'm going to use it on you first now.
They never explain what it does. He gets super strong in the fight against Wonder Woman, and that was it. I did like when it was funny. I was like, they kill all the German high officers in one scene, and I was like, wouldn't the Kaiser just see them as war criminals after that? But I did like the whole thing when they threw the gas mask in there, and she's like, it's not going to work. And he's like, yeah, I don't know that. And they were just having fun watching them fight over the gas mask.
I wish that scene had been longer.
I wish they had done that something a little more interesting. Yeah. They could have even shown something about human nature where they're all dying and then killing each other at the same time.
But they gave us a second of that and then cut away. I thought that was going to be a whole scene of them fighting and dying one by one. For a movie with so much death, I guess it had to be like bloodless because it was a PG-13 movie for teens. But I would have liked some more graphic violence in my Wonder Woman.
I thought they were going to just start slaughtering the Amazon warriors at the beginning when they came with like machine
guns. Yeah.
There was the destroyer ship that just never, it was in frame for a scene and then never shows up again.
True.
I thought they were just going to start gunning down.
Bombing them.
That would have been interesting if they just all got gunned down.
Because they wouldn't have known how to fight against that.
She knew what a bullet was, and
I think I want to talk about Dr. Poison because I feel like that was an extremely underused character. I feel like she should have gotten more time. She should have been our real villain.
I thought she might have been the God of War.
Yeah, I thought that was.
That's what I thought. That was going to be a little switch where she was the. No, it was the British officer that we see in like one scene.
Yeah.
Who seems to have no influence over the plot.
But my favorite, probably the only memorable scene for me in the movie is the scene where Chris Pine is pretending to be a German officer. Where first of all he has to do to pretend to be a German officer is speak English with a German accent, the Indiana Jones way. But he's trying to like sexually seduce Dr. Poison.
I liked that.
But I love that
with the
scene.
speech about fire.
And he's talking about how much he loved like burning stuff, and she's like getting turned on.
I liked that. I was hoping he would just start to get more overt. It was like, you got somewhere private you could take me, or
yeah. I enjoyed that. That was clever. Most of the jokes where I felt like were pretty easy, but I accepted them. But I enjoyed that scene. That's maybe the one scene that will stick with me. I'll probably dream about a slow motion battle tonight. Just like a slow motion fight sequence. I love watching Wonder Woman jump around, swing her sword from here.
I like how also Indiana Jones style they still doubted like gods and mythology despite Chris Pine traveling to their magical land.
He tells
they had a couple scenes where he's like, what is this weird blue water? You're making it glow, and then he just like runs. That kind of got dropped. He's like, what's going on here? He's like, they have the lasso of truth, and she's like whipping it around, and it turns gold, and
and then he still like is on the fence about whether or not Ares exists. He's like, oh, you got your golden lassos and your super strength, but
and you can
gods, Greek gods. I don't know about that. Yeah, I really don't know what else to say about this movie.
No.
Would you recommend it to anyone?
I mean, if you like the Marvel movies, it's just as competent as those.
Yeah.
Are you going to mention how they killed the God of War, but then World War II happens?
I was thinking that. Oh, I forgot to think. I was like, yeah, what is she doing? She's
because
like.
I was confused. I was like.
She's like trying to.
So the A-bomb was all us then.
Yeah.
Well, that's how great we are. We invented the A-bomb without Ares.
But I was thinking, was she
around.
doing anything during World War II? Was she like fighting on the front lines?
Yeah.
I guess.
I
Is that going to be the next
So let's have to
movie?
make another one.
Was she just chilling? She
Is it-
seemed to, her final speech seemed to have been her just like giving up on fighting, or like she just like being a passive observer. But she's just like they're gonna do their own thing, and only love can change that. So I guess she didn't fight in World War II.
But that doesn't make any sense because she fights. She just easily fights in Batman v Superman.
So you haven't seen Batman.
The next movie should be her like having another flashback to World War
Fun
II.
times in World War II.
And then it's like
This was her
she meets
flashback.
a
She
new
got
guy,
a
has a
little
new
photo.
romance.
Maybe she got a little photograph from her fun times.
Oh, you found another photograph of me. This one in World War II. I don't know. Yeah, I guess all the cooler weapons that we've developed. I mean, maybe Ares was holding us back in terms of weapon development. Really, now we got lasers. we got
I don't know. I mean,
ICBMs.
He's been here the whole time, so he got us.
Didn't die.
Maybe he didn't die. I don't know. I like how I want to mention how, according to the movie, the Amazons were created to like have sex with humans and teach them how to be like cool and passionate instead of warring. Like Zeus invents humans.
Yeah.
Then Ares comes and teaches them about war, and then Zeus invents the Amazons who come out of the water to teach humans about passion and love.
They kind of like
by like
balance
banging
out.
them. that is how it appeared. They're perfect women.
Yeah. It took me a while because I didn't know the story of Wonder Woman, so it was nice to have that little like Greek tapestry. That was a cool little image of that whole story.
Yeah,
I didn't realize they were Greek because they had like their like Russian British accents. Yeah.
Yeah, I do wish that like first half hour had been delivered later. We had started with the plot, the hero's journey plot, and got like backstory through.
It was nice to at least set things up. I don't think
you feel like you would have been too lost without that.
I think we just needed the tapestry thing and that little story, and then like maybe they could have come in and like killed all of her Amazon friends, and she was left on her own to discover the rest. Like they were gonna tell her about her being a god, and then they get killed beforehand, and she kind of slowly learns about her powers throughout it or whatever. Because they seem to train her and.
It seems unclear what Wonder Woman's powers are.
No, which would be nice if she learned more about them throughout the movie.
And also, what's happening in the final scene? She's like she jumps out to attack something, but do you see what it was? She just heard what?
It was us.
Oh, I think she was.
I
thought she was just flying around London or whatever.
I thought you heard a sound and then she puts on the outfit and then she jumps out like she's gonna attack something.
No, this is modern time.
Oh.
It was ISIS.
I just want to mention how terrible some of the CGI was.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But But it became mostly, I feel like, in the first half.
It was never... it was bad, but compared to some things I've seen lately, it was not even that.
That's true.
Offensive.
I just don't understand why it was even necessary.
I don't know.
Like, was just so we don't have to hire stunt actors, because it was all like CGI of people doing action stunts. Just like I was just make the computers do it.
Pretty much, they were all throughout the movie. There were like small bad things that stood out, small good things. But it was all just kind of a wash.
Yeah. I was just waiting for it to end.
Pretty much.
Until the end, at which point I was like, okay, it's Hollywood, little Hollywood film. I'm glad there was a romance. There was like a romance that I like connected with, and there was a good arc for our character, and
I guess
defeated the villain.
Kind of an older Hollywood romance where they're just kind of attractive and fight together, and then that's it.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say that Chris Pine had like a character or an arc.
No.
He was the same person from the beginning to the end, and his person was like gruff, nice man.
Pretty much. With a moral compass.
Yeah. I guess I would agree with you. If you want to see a superhero movie, you want to see some dudes fighting.
It's fine.
It's fine. Go see it.
It's hard to recommend paying for it in theaters.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only thing, but
I can't recommend it as like a real movie.
I just I can't. It's hard to recommend watching it at home when there's billions of other movies at your fingertips as well.
What do you do with this?
I don't know.
Wonder Woman, rated PG-13. Experience it in IMAX 3D June 2nd.
I was thinking about that when he did his math, and I was like, I wish Dennis Hopper was there to like do math and just start screaming and punching Wonder Woman. Well, at least when you mentioned it as math, and I was like, I pictured Dennis Hopper.
I don't even think we mentioned that in this review. I think we were talking about it earlier. How if it would have been better if the magical pill that makes you powerful was actually meth. And then he like takes the meth and he's like, I'm gonna fight you, Wonder Woman, and she like kills him immediately. That would have been great. Because there was no reason for that fight scene to occur, for that magical dust to be there.
Are there like rules about about like showing
the magical
methamphetamine
dust
in PG-13 movies?
Oh.
Do you think that's why they made up the magical pill? Because there were amphetamines.
Do you think it was supposed to be meth, but like
I
that
feel
was
like
like?
it was supposed to be meth, but they weren't allowed.
But it should have just made him like crazy. It should like it made him like extra strong. It made him able to fight her. That's not what meth actually does.
I think it makes you a little bit stronger.
Because it's in your mind. It makes you let go of your fears and inhibitions. I don't know. I just would have loved if he was like whacked out on meth and then like she killed him like super easily. Because there was no reason for that extra plot element of magical.
He seemed super useless after he punched her once and then seemed like he like freaked out and was like running away.
Do you think it was supposed to make him look like Ares to her because his face was like glowing?
No, maybe
I don't know what was going on with his face.
Yeah, maybe that happened earlier when he first got it, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna take a turn where I was gonna get angry and like frustrated.
What about
like
what?
where once she broke the magical blue vial and I was like, oh, it's just gonna do something unexplainable for the whole movie and like right now, but I mean it did, but it was very small.
Yeah, well, it wasn't throughout.
It wasn't like the MacGuffin Cube in Guardians of the Galaxy where it's just like it was the whole point and I never knew how it worked. And
you just throw it on the ground and just goes the point.
Or the guy, like, he kills one guy who grabs it, and the other guy grabs it, and he's fine. I was like, what the fuck? I just keep... The rules were fairly grounded in this movie, so it was like...
Wonder Woman.
Just like Wonder Woman, she's jumping, but how's it look? Wonder Woman, how's it go? Feels like Wonder Woman, feels like Wonder Woman. This bitch is straight fly and look like Wonder Woman. She coming out the sky and she fly like Wonder Woman. She's suck dick in the car just like Wonder Woman.